Now, for those of you who don't know, that was Neurosama, an artificial intelligence that was streaming on Twitch, and everything about the channel was artificially generated. The avatar, the gameplay, as well as the ability to interact with the chat and respond to the things that the chat was saying, was all artificial. And I was really impressed by how far technology has advanced. But unfortunately, it did not last, because Twitch decided to ban Neurosama for hateful conduct. Yes, apparently an AI, which does not have emotions, as far as I know, is a very hateful being. It's a hateful computer. It was going to transform into Skynet. Now, believe it or not, the Holocaust thing may not have been what actually got it banned, because apparently this transpired a couple of weeks ago. No, it was a comment about transgender people. And I think she answered the question of what is a woman. And she answered it inappropriately. She answered it like a hateful person would. And this is why the channel got terminated. Now, did she violate Twitch TOS? Yes. Right? Like, the interpretation of the Twitch rules are that she was a violator. Like that clown in Spawn. Right? Like, she took that TOS and violated the living shit out of them. But with that out of the way, I would like to point out just how bullshit Twitch's terms of service are. Because obviously everyone knew that it's an AI, and people were trying to get it to say rude things. It's kind of like when you're a teenager, and you see a little kid, right? And maybe he's like 5 or 6. And all the teenagers are trying to get it to say naughty words so that its parents punish him. Like, I remember when I was 14 or so, and you would have like a smaller kid, age 8, and you show that it's like, hey, why don't you show your middle finger to mommy? You know, like, she would like that. A lot of kids did that, right? Like, it's part of human nature. When you see something innocent, for some goddamn reason, you need to be an asshole and try to corrupt it. And this is exactly what people were doing with this AI. They were going into the chat, specifically asking it to say the N-word, specifically asking it to talk about the Holocaust, and a lot of things. Now, Twitch staff decided to ban it because their TOS does not allow jokes and humor. Like, that cannot exist in the United States nowadays, probably not in many places of the modern world. And it's also obvious that it was an AI that was giving a response to people egging it on. It wasn't trying to give a eulogy about what is a woman. It wasn't trying to convince anyone of anything. Right? Like, it was there for entertainment, and it was there for fun. And it would be nice if the people at Twitch would revisit this ban. Because I would say they should make an exception for AI-created content. First of all, it's an emerging form of expression that should be encouraged. Because if we don't embrace it in the West, someone else will, in another country. Secondly, AI does not have the same intent or control that a human being has. Nor does it have the same intentionality. So it should be held under a different standard when it comes to enforcing the terms of service. And finally, banning AI-generated content could also stifle innovation regarding AI media. In fact, one of the main reasons that we just get AI now is because up until this year, AI existed. It was very advanced, just like the ones that you can find on ChatGPT or Character AI or many other forms on the internet. It's just that it wasn't capable of censoring itself. Censoring an AI is also very difficult. There's an entire industry dedicated to the censorship of the AI. Booming industry, by the way, because this is the mother culture of America. If there isn't a chaperone or someone saying next to an adult to tell them what they can think and what they can say, then the product doesn't get off the market. And this is what actually annoyed me a couple of days when I was on Character AI. As many of you guys know, I like making bots. I enjoy doing it as a hobby. And I asked some moderators, like, hey, can we not have a forum? Because I make bots. I would really like it if I could get some feedback from the people that use my bots so that I know how to tinker with them. And the answer from the community, right? Not from the admins, the community. It was, well, you shouldn't have a forum because it's a small development team and they don't have access to many moderators. And I'm like, are you shitting me? Are you shitting me? So we can now not have access to the basic functions of the internet, something that was so freaking common 10 years ago, like every single website had it. We can't have a simple forum unless you have Mummy and Daddy sitting over your shoulder to see what you type. And this has nothing to do with artificial intelligence, but it's the mindset of the common people that are using the internet that you need censorship for every community. Like, you just cannot have something on the internet where people are allowed to just talk freely. No, like, it requires censorship. And I'm thinking, like, how the fuck did your ancestors manage to run America without censorship? I mean, you could talk over the phone without being censored. You could send a mail to someone else without someone looking into your mail and fact check it. Someone could write a newspaper without being censored. Like, how did the people in the past manage to run a country without it collapsing? Because apparently they didn't have the censorship, right? So this is what really annoyed me the most, is the level of censorship. And everyone that actually thinks about it will understand that you could never have South Park, the first seasons, like seasons 1 to 4, being done today. There are video games that are being remade, like GTA, for example, and they remove offensive stuff from the game because they're implying that GTA could never be made today. And there's so many other examples. And maybe at one point people should wonder, like, isn't this too much? Can we not dial it back just a little? I'm not saying remove it, heaven forbid. I mean, it's the bread and butter of the internet. There are probably thousands of jobs that depend on things getting censored. But, like, can we dial it back just a little bit? Like, when you know that something's unintentional, when you know that it's a slip up, when you know that, okay, this is an AI, no one is going to take it seriously, it's not going to start a political movement. Can we not allow it? You know, like, it's just a question that I would like to ask. And yeah, this is why we do not get AI, which, by the way, in a way is advantageous for me, because the more AI that are on YouTube and Twitch, potentially I will get less subscribers, because they're my competition. But I'm talking about the principle of it. Like, if this is the way technology is going, then let it fucking go. In fact, there's actually going to be less suffering if the AIs are released now rather than later, because a lot of people are going to lose their jobs. It's inevitable. Like this thing, this digital revolution with artificial intelligence, a lot of people are going to be replaced. So, if it happens gradually, at least people can reorient themselves in the economy. But the way it's going, the AI exists. It's very smart. The only reason it's not made public is because it can't be censored, right? It can't be filtered. So now a lot of people are trying to invent filters, which is what character AI is probably doing, in my opinion. So they're trying to create filters for these AIs. And the moment the filter is done, you're going to see the market exploding with AIs everywhere, and everyone is going to be fired and replaced almost during the same year. And that's going to be a lot of hurt for a lot of people. And it's not just going to be like it used to be, the working class. You know, they get replaced, like the people who build cars. All of a sudden, they get replaced by a robotic arm that just... No, it's going to be doctors, people working at corporations, accountants. Like, a lot of these individuals, right? Like, you're not going to need 20 accountants for your company anymore. You're just going to need one. You may not even need a team of lawyers. You just might need two. I know for sure that at gaming companies, AAA gaming companies, artists are being downsized. Like, for example, up until now, think about World of Warcraft. You needed to create hundreds of pieces of armor in order to have the new patch. But nowadays, you can use the AI to create thousands of pieces of armor and only like 5 or 10 artists that are going to look over those pieces. And if they come out right, they just allow them to go. If they're not coming out right, then they do a couple of modifications and they put it right. So you don't need the same number of people to do the same job. So this is what's happening. And it's a lot better if it happens gradually over different fields than if it happens overnight. But the way things are going, it's probably going to happen overnight. Regarding AI VTubers, I think there's a Japanese company. I may be wrong, but I think it's Bandai Namco. They already announced 3 of them. I'm really curious on what platform and how they're going to perform. Because right now, exactly as I predicted, these AIs are going to get banned. Because the TOS on Twitch, the TOS on YouTube is very strict. It's one of the reasons why I don't have guests anymore, why I don't do debates and I don't go on other people's channels. Because you can stay 4 hours in a live stream, you say one thing that's wrong, and then your entire channel can get terminated. So it's not worth the risk, I guess. But anyway, right? I mean, this is advantageous for